Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Straight to Blu-ray. I'm James, and today is Monday. So normally I had been posting movie news ever since I've started the channel back up on Mondays, but it doesn't seem to be very popular. So since I guess physical media is more my area that I'm focusing on here, I am going to go over and do a top 10 list today. This is going to be my personal. Let me reiterate that my personal top 10 movies of 1985. I actually did one of 1984. Gosh, probably almost a year ago now. This is going to be, I'm just going to kind of keep going up through the years. So since I did 84, we're going to 85. So yeah, this is going to be my top 10 movies. Once again, my personal top 10 movies of 1985. All right, so this one was kind of tough, and the reason I reiterated, or kind of emphasized, I should say, this is my personal top 10. Is I've already had a couple comments, from folks where somebody commented that, oh, I don't have enough classic movies, and they can't trust somebody that doesn't have classic movies in their collection. Let me tell you something. This is my collection, my personal collection. I'm not going to get things. I'm not going to tout movies that I personally don't like. I don't care if somebody thinks, oh, I'm not a real movie fan, if I don't like X, Y, or Z, or you're not a real movie collector, if you don't have this, this, and this. I really don't care. To be honest, this is what I like. Some of these movies on here, these aren't going to be your Oscar nominated movies. There's not going to be an Amadeus on here because I've never seen that and I didn't really have any interest in watching it. These are going to be movies, especially because I was younger at that time, that I enjoyed at that period of time and still do to this day. So like I said, it's going to be my personal top 10. Yours is going to be different. So yeah, just keep that in mind while you're watching this. And then, like I said, leave me a comment down below. Let me know, what are some of your top movies of 1985 that I don't have on this list? Something you were interested in that's maybe, or just leave me your top 5, top 10 list, what you think of 1985. So let's go ahead and get into number 10. All right, so movie number 10 for me, like I said, this was a difficult one because a lot of these movies that came out in 85 are actually some of my all-time favorite movies. So if I did like my all-time favorite movies ever, there's a good number of these that would actually be on there. Number 10 is not. Obviously, it's number 10. But I definitely like this movie. This is a John Hughes movie. I actually have every single one of these top 10 movies on physical media with the exception of one of them. But I do have this one. This is number 10. This came out on August 2nd of 1985, and it was the 56th top grossing movie of 1985. And like I said, this is a John Hughes movie, and that is going to be Weird Science with Anthony Michael Hall in it. Like I said, this is a really, really fun movie. Just a goofy screwball type of kind of comedy. A little bit different, I would say, than some of the other John Hughes movies, but really cool. I love this Arrow video edition of it. You've got the slipcover here, which I think is really cool. They did a really good job, especially with these 80s ones. And then on the inside, you've got, this is actually reversible, so you can either have, this is kind of the original cover on it, or you can have the exact same thing as the slip cover. But usually when there's a double-sided slip cover on there, I try to keep the slip cover here, or I'm sorry, the artwork, the J card. I usually switch it up, so I've got both of them. But yeah, this is definitely a cool Blu-ray release from Arrow. It's a really cool movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely something to check out. I really liked it. I mean, John Hughes, classic 80s, definitely winners. Number 10, like I said, is going to be Weird Science. All right, moving on to number 9 for 1985. This one is a sequel to definitely a great movie. There's a lot of these in it. I wouldn't say this is my favorite of the series, but definitely one that I really like. This came out on November 27th of 1985, and it was the number 4 top grossing movie of 1985. I don't have the individual one. It came in a set, but it's part of the Rocky collection, and it was Rocky 4. Rocky 4 came out in 1985. Just a, cool movie. Like I said, it's definitely not my favorite Rocky movie, but it's definitely, just Ivan, Drago on that one. What happens to Apollo Creed at the beginning of it. Just a really kind of cool, just a good entry into the Rocky ones. Probably until he did Rocky Balboa, probably the last. I didn't really like Rocky 5 that much, so this is kind of really the last kind of good one as far as where he's the main fighter until you get to Rocky Balboa. I think that was more focused on the story as opposed to the boxing. This was just I don't know. I just like the concept. It's classic '80s. You got Rocky, you got Drago in there. You got Brigitte Nielsen is in it. So definitely a cool movie. Just one of those really good, Rocky. I don't know. There's not much too much to say about it. I'm sure most people have seen Rocky 4. If you haven't, it's definitely worth a try. This is actually coming to 4K. I want to say in about a month or so. So it's definitely one I'm going to be picking up to check out. But yeah, Rocky 4 is going to be my number 9 top movie of 1985. All right, now we come to number 8, and this one I actually saw in theaters. I don't know why, but I vividly remember going. I don't remember seeing the actual movie, just that I went. I know my dad took me and my sister. My sister was 5 years older than me at the time, and I'm 45. So in 1985, let's see, this came out in May. So I was 7 years old, almost 8 years old to go see this one. My sister actually went to go see St. Elmo's Fire in one theater, and me and my dad sat in this one. This is the one that I don't have an actual physical copy of, and that is going to be Rambo First Blood Part 2. Yep, I went in that one at 7 years old. See Rambo First Blood Part 2. Just cool, like I said, the Rambo movie's cool. This is the first one I'd even seen. I had not seen First Blood. I guess I was too young for First Blood, but 7 is just the right age to see First Blood Part 2. But yeah, this is the first Rambo movie that I ever, came in contact with. Obviously, there was only 2 of them at the time. Did not see the first, but I had seen this one, so this was my introduction to Rambo. It's a cool, action movie. Stallone shooting people up. You'll see that's comes into play later on in my list about a big dude shooting up a whole bunch of people in a jungle setting. But yeah, it's just it's Rambo. Who doesn't like a good Rambo, kick-ass movie? So yeah, Rambo First Blood Part 2 is going to be my number 8 movie. And like I said, it came out May 22nd. This was actually the second highest grossing movie of 1985 was Rambo First Blood Part 2. So number 7 on my list, I can pretty much tell you that if you watched a whole bunch of YouTube channels and they gave you a top 10 of their top 1985 movies, this movie's probably not making it in 98% of those. But for me, I really like this movie. I thought it was a cool one, especially when I was younger. Really loved it, but it's still something I can go back and watch. Definitely an interesting concept. This one came out on June 14th, 1985, and it is the 112th top grossing movie in 1985, so it was not super popular, but I really enjoyed it. There isn't actually, I think there's a Blu-ray in European markets, but I haven't seen one as far as here, so I only have the DVD, and that is going to be d.a.r.y.l. This is just a really cool movie about, this is d.a.r.y.l here, data analyzing robot youth life form. He's a robot, and he kind of gets out of his government facility, meets a family. They have obviously no idea that he's a robot. So it's just kind of a cool, kids type of movie. Like I said, this isn't going to be high up on most people's list of 1985 movies. But as I said at the beginning, this is my personal top 10. So there's going to be a couple on here that, aren't critically acclaimed movies. These are just movies that I enjoy. And quite frankly, that's why I watch movies, because I enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching this. So it's number 7 on my list. So yeah, d.a.r.y.l is number 7. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, it's just a cool movie. I think it's more nostalgic for me. So maybe somebody watching it for the first time may not have that same feeling about it, but definitely one of my favorites of 1985, d.a.r.y.l. All right, moving on to number 6 of my top 10 of 1985. This movie came out on May 22nd of 1985. It was the 20th highest grossing movie. This is one that I believe this has got Richard Pryor in it. And I'm pretty sure I had read somewhere that he wasn't the biggest fan of doing this movie. He didn't think it was very good. I happen to enjoy it. I know a lot of other people do. It's going to be Richard Pryor and John Candy, and that is going to be Brewster's Millions. This is the Shout Select version of Brewster's Millions. Like I said, it's nothing that it didn't win any awards, nor should it. But it was just a really cool, fun movie, an interesting concept. Definitely not something that you really see in anything else, especially up to at that time. And I don't think really anything since that he had to, spend all that money and couldn't have a single thing to show for it. Just an interesting kind of concept. Made you think, what would you do in that exact same situation? So I thought it was a cool movie. It's not the funniest thing that Richard Pryor's ever done, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Obviously, you got the late John Candy in this one. Definitely a cool movie. So yeah, number 6 on my list is gonna be Brewster's Millions. All right, we are about to get into the top 5 movies that I think are the best of 1985. Let me go ahead and invite you to subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. I try to put out videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on various movie-related topics. As you can see, I'm a big movie fan, so like I said, if you haven't subscribed, think about hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. And if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Definitely helps out the channel. And like I said earlier, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what some of your favorite movies of 1985 are, or what you think of mine. Is it terrible that d.a.r.y.l's on my list? So, all that good stuff. You can tell me you don't trust me because I don't have classics. Whatever, helps the channel, so put whatever you want in there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the top 5. So number 5 on my list, this one came out at the very end, December 13th. It is the 74th highest grossing movie of 1985. And if a movie has 3 separate endings on it, you gotta have it on the list. And of course, I'm talking about Clue, the movie. Really love this movie. This is something I've seen so many different times. It's still interesting. Really love the concept because when this came out, if you haven't seen this, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You need to check this movie out. It's murder mystery based off the board game, but you had 3 separate endings, and when this was in theaters, it literally had 3 separate endings. Like, you could go see it at one theater and you get one ending, go to a different theater, you get a completely different ending. Had 3 endings, so depending on which theater you went to or what copy you saw, you were going to see one of the 3 endings. Obviously, the good thing about physical media is you're going to get all 3 endings in this one, so you can see what all 3 of them are. But that's just a really cool concept. And I guess it was, well, the 74th top grossing movie. But I guess it encouraged people, hey, well, that was the one ending. What was the next? Because obviously this is 1985. You didn't just Google what the other 2 endings were. You didn't know unless you knew somebody. So yeah, definitely a cool concept. Really cool movie. It's funny. It's just a cool, in the realm of putting movies after board games, definitely up at the top. So yeah, Clue is going to be my number 5 top movie of 1985. All right, so coming in at number 4, this movie came out on October 4th of 1985. It was the 24th highest grossing movie of the year. And when I was talking about Stallone and Rambo 2, just a movie of him, killing people in a jungle. Who doesn't like that? And I told you I was going to come up later. Well, it's come up. My number 4 favorite movie of 1985 is going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. Just a really cool action movie. Arnold has like 10,000 one-liners in this thing, and every single one of them are gold, like all of them. Just a really cool movie. It's got Arnold in it. You got Ray Don Chong in it. You got Alyssa Milano as his daughter in that when she gets kidnapped. He has to, he's supposed to kill the president of this fictional country. Of course, he doesn't. Decides he's going to rescue her. So many people die in this one. It's you got to suspend disbelief a little bit towards the end of this one because he kills like just a ton of people all by himself. But you know what? It's Arnold. It's plausible, I think. But like I said, cool movie. A million one-liners in this one. You gotta love it. Rocket launcher, everything. From Ray Dong Chong and that one. A big old fight scene at a mall. Him jumping on an elevator. It's just classic Arnold. Just kicking people's butt. Really cool action movie. This is another one that when I was younger, I just watched over and over and over again. So definitely loved it. Like I said, probably not the most critically acclaimed movie out there, but I don't care. I watch movies because I enjoy them, and this one I really enjoy. So yeah, number 4 is going to be Commando. All right, going into the top 3. So this next movie, number 3 on my list, this one came out February 15th, so right after Valentine's Day. It was the 14th top grossing movie of 1985. And we already had one John Hughes movie on the list, so of course we got to have 2. This one, I would say, is probably my favorite John Hughes movie of all time, and this is definitely my top 3 are probably right at the top 3 of my favorite movies ever. And that one is going to be The Breakfast Club. This is the Criterion edition on here, and if you haven't got the Criterion, this thing has I think it's like 30 or 40 minutes of either deleted or extended scenes on here. That's like that. The entire movie is only like an hour and a half. So you get like an extra half of the movie if you haven't, check this one out. Definitely want to check out the Criterion Collection if you're a Breakfast Club fan. If you're not a Breakfast Club fan, I don't know. Like I was trying to say, everybody's got different tastes, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But I mean, this is just an amazing movie. It's hilarious at the beginning. You got all of them in there. Then it gets a little more serious, but still lighthearted towards the end. Just like I said, probably of all of the John Hughes movie, me personally, this one is going to be my favorite. This Criterion Collection version of it is definitely cool. There's a whole bunch of special features on here, and like I said, you're getting like 40 minutes of additional movie that I'd never seen before I'd gotten this, and I've seen this movie a million times. So yeah, definitely worth a pickup if you don't have this. But yeah, number 3 is going to be The Breakfast Club on my top movies of 1985. All right, we are at number 2, my number 2 movie of 1985. To be honest with you, this one and number 1, these are my top 2 favorite movies ever. And they really could switch back and forth, I think, depending on my mood. It's kind of a 1A, 1B, but I always do this one too, and you'll see what number 1 is at number 1. But yeah, so this movie came out on July 3rd, so this was a 4th of July movie. It was the top grossing movie of 1985, and it is the original. That is Back to the Future. This is part of the Steelbook collection. But I mean, Back to the Future for me, like I said, this is easily it's like a 1A 1B for me. But this is at least number 2 on my just favorite movies ever. I love this movie. I just think it was amazing. I know Eric Stoltz was originally cast as Marty. I just can't see anybody other than Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly in this one. And Doc Brown, like every character was amazing. Crispin Glover as George McFly, and you got Biff Tannen, just perfect. Just the casting was just perfect on this one. I just love this movie. I mean, I love all 3 of them, but this is definitely my favorite. Just an amazing concept, an amazing story. You got the DeLorean in there. Like I said, just an amazing movie. I know a lot of people love this movie. Hell, it spawned a ride at Universal. It's a good movie when you get a ride at a theme park. So unfortunately, I live in Florida now, so I've been to Universal, but I never got to ride the Back to the Future ride. I think they still have it maybe in the Hollywood one. I'm not sure, or somewhere. Definitely want to add that to my bucket list. But yeah, definitely just a cool movie. If you haven't seen the Back to the Future, you gotta check this one out. In the realm of all these movies, I've seen these so many times. This is another one that I've seen a million times. But yeah, just such an amazing movie. So Back to the Future is my number 2 movie of 1985. All right, we have made it to my top movie of 1985. Like I've said already a couple times, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about my list before we get into this number 1 movie. This one, I know it's Neil Patrick Harris's top movie. I remember hearing that one time. This is probably not going to be the top movie for most people. This is my favorite movie of all time. Like I said, it's 1A, 1B with Back to the Future. This is anywhere near critically acclaimed or just didn't win awards. Just for me personally, I just love this movie. I loved it as a kid. I loved it as a teenager. I love it as an adult. I just never get tired of watching this. Just a great movie. This one came out on June 7th of 1985, and it was the number 8 highest grossing movie of that year. And I am talking about, of course, The Goonies. The Goonies is my favorite movie of all time. Let that sink in, everybody. The Goonies is my favorite. Like I said, I could watch this movie just over and over and over, and I never get sick of it. Just love it. Just an amazing story. When you were a kid, and I know when I was a kid, that would just have been an amazing adventure to go on. You've got Sloth and Chunk in there. You got the Fratellis, causing trouble. Of course, you've got the Goonies, the kids trying to get some money together to help, save their neighborhood from some, developer. Not really still sure on how that happened and how they owed a bunch of money to this guy, but that's here nor there. It doesn't really matter. Just a cool movie that, when they get in there, you got the pirate ship and everything. And, they going down on those water slides, I still, for the life of me, do not know how a theme park did not think, I'm sure it had something to do with copyright and rights issues, but how was there never a Goonies water slide concept in any theme park somewhere, whoever owned the rights to that? I don't know how that never happened. It should have, because, let's be honest, how many water slides are a major focal point of a movie? But like I said, this one's just a cool movie. I've seen it a million times. I've got it in different iterations. This, like I said, is obviously the 4K. I got the 4K set with this one one of these days I want to go to Astoria, Oregon. That's where this is filmed, in Astoria, Oregon. You can actually see the well, I don't know if it is anymore. It used to be on Google Maps. Literally, it would be labeled as the Goonies house. I mean, someone lives there, so if you do go, be respectful. But you can at least see it, and it was actually labeled the Goonies house on on Google Maps. But definitely, you know, one of those movies. Like I said, as a kid, I've seen this a bunch of times. It was really cool, and you know, it's a good movie to you when it just never gets old. Like you can just keep going back to it over and over, and that's what I do. I've seen it a whole bunch of times on DVD, or VHS, DVD, then Blu-ray, now 4K. Just an amazing time. Hell, I could watch the VHS and be happy with it, to be honest with you. But yeah, that is going to be my top movie of 1985 is The Goonies. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Let me know, like I said, what you thought about my top 10. Do you like any of these movies? Are you terrified? Are you just horrified, I should say, of my top 10? Have you already unsubscribed because you can't believe that this is in my top 10 list? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video.